Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a themed reading vlog in which I only read green books. I'm actually really excited because my favourite colour is green. I put on a little green jumper today to start the video, and yeah, green is just my favourite colour, and the lineup that I have picked for this vlog seems like it's going to be so good and such a solid week of reading that I think we're just going to have a lot of fun in this video. I'm still looking a bit blue. I was in a different angle before and I looked really blue because of like the outside lighting, so I'm still a little bit blue, so sorry about that, but I'm not looking as blue. So let's talk about the books that I want to get to in this video. So the first one I actually started last night, but I only read the prologue. I started it because I hate starting books on the tube, and that's what would have happened because I'm working today, so I have to, you know, leave. And yeah, I didn't want to have to start this book on the tube, so I read the prologue, and that book is Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. I have heard amazing things about this book. This is book one in the Regency fairy tales, and those two things just make up something that I think I would love. Regency era England and fairies. Hello. My favourite things. Also, the book is floppy. The book is floppy. It's going to be perfect. So what I've read from the prologue is basically our main character Dora is just kind of, I think she's like out in the garden, and suddenly this man appears behind her and she starts calling him Elf, but we soon find out he's actually like a fairy lord. And once upon a time, Dora's mother had promised this fairy lord her firstborn child. So basically, this fairy lord has come to claim Dora and take her, as was promised to him. But then Dora's cousin, I believe, yeah, came in and basically saved Dora and said, you cannot have her, like, you can't have her, like, leave, go away. And he gets kind of angry, and basically what happens is that he curses Dora. So Dora is then cursed, she loses colour in one of her eyes, and, I believe, yes, he curses her to have no sense of fear or embarrassment. So things that would usually make her scared, she doesn't feel anything for them. Like after this encounter, you know, the cousin is like, are you not scared? Like, did that not scare you? And she's like, no, I suppose a normal person would have been scared, but I was not scared, you know? And I imagine we're gonna go on a journey to see if something can happen with this curse. I don't really know. I imagine she'll try and get rid of it or live in spite of it. I don't really know. But yeah, that's that one, and that's the one we're going to be starting with for this vlog. I will briefly talk about the other two books, but I'll give you guys more of a synopsis when I've actually started them. But the next one is The X Vows by Jessica Joyce. The main reason I picked this is because the spine is completely green, so when they're all lined up, it looks really nice. But also the background of the hills are green and her dress is green, so I think it works. But the spine is so green. And all I really, actually, I feel like I know quite a lot about this book. But the reason I picked it up is because they say if you like Emily Henry's Happy Place, then you will like this, because this is a second chance romance. They are, basically they have to go to their best friend's wedding, but then the venue burns down and our two main characters kind of have to work together to get this wedding back on track. And that's kind of all I know so far, but it sounds really, really fun and just a nice palette cleanser romance moment. And then finally, we will be reading Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands. I am very excited for this one because I've heard it's a lot more autumnal, whereas the first book was quite wintry in my opinion, and I think in a lot of people's opinion. It was very wintry, but this is obviously following Emily and Bumblebee after the events of the first book. I can't really say too much about what this book is about, But, you know, Emily and Brambleby are scholars in the academic world of fairies. You know, they study fairies, they go on different expeditions to learn about fairies and all things like that. I mean, the first book was called Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, right? Yeah. And so in the first book, she basically goes on an expedition and she's writing and learning about fairies for her encyclopedia. So, yeah. But this book kind of just carries on from that. And I think it's going to be really good. So, that is the lineup for today's video. And yeah, I have to go to work. But I'm very excited to start Half a Soul, and I will let you guys know how I get on with it once I am home from work later this evening. I don't know how good this lighting is. I feel very yellow. Actually, I think it's leveling itself out, so it's fine. But I forgot to update you guys yesterday, and I've read a lot. I think I'm actually going to end up finishing the book tomorrow. I feel really bad about not updating, but yesterday after work, I just felt like, I don't even know, like a little gremlin or something. I just didn't want to, like, do anything. But I have been reading Half a Soul, and I am loving it. It is so good. I'm so happy that I'm, you know, really enjoying it. It's just so good, and I will be continuing on with the Regency Fairy Tales series. Like, I'm like reading it on the tube, like smiling to myself because it's just adorable. It's so cute. It's kind of like cozy vibes, low stakes, fun characters. I just am loving it. So I'm on page 182, which, like, it looks like I'm just about halfway through, but you have to, with Orbit Publishing, they always add like a chunk of a different book in the back. So actually, you know, I'm probably about 70% through, that's what I would say, of the actual story. And let me tell you what's happening, because obviously a lot has happened and I know a lot about the book now. So we're following Dora. I can't remember what I told you guys, because I don't know if I've given you an update at all. But we're following Dora. We're following Dora, and she was cursed by a fairy, and now she only has half a soul, pretty much. She can't feel like fear or embarrassment or anything like that. And so it, you know, in Regency England society, it makes her a bit peculiar and a bit odd, and everyone judges her, and like her aunt isn't particularly, oh, but overexposed there. Her aunt isn't particularly kind to her because of it, you know. No one's really making an effort to have Dora out in society and try to get a husband or anything like that, which is obviously what, you know, young ladies work towards in this time period. And she doesn't really have that. Also in this world, you know, I think it's kind of coming across that everyone knows fairies exist, but no one really talks about them. If you have like dealings with fairies or are involved with them, it's almost like frowned upon, and it's not something that's spoken about. So, you know, Dora's curse is not known to the public, pretty much. Like, not everyone knows about it, only like her family and then a couple other people that Dora chooses to tell throughout our story. No. So that's kind of how fairy and fairies are interwoven in it. But then basically then Dora and her cousin go to London, because even though no one really cares about Dora courting anyone, they do really want her cousin Vanessa to marry well, marry rich, high in society. So they go to London and they're doing all that, and then, you know, we meet a couple more characters that kind of help progress Dora's story, and we meet Elias, and I really like Elias. I didn't in the beginning. I wasn't sure about him, but now I quite like him. I think he's misunderstood, and he's fun, and the whole plot is fun, and yeah, it's great. I'm loving it. I don't have much left. I will definitely finish it tomorrow. But yeah, it's great. I'm also loving Olivia Atwater's writing style. I'm very fond of it. It's nice. I'm definitely going to read the other books in this series. I think there's 2 more. I will look into getting those. It kind of feels like... No, I don't really know. It's quite unique, but in the same sense it has like that comfort of some of like my other favourite books. Like it has a similar vibe to it. I can't really explain it. But it's really lovely, it's really cozy. It's very charming and I love it. So, I am going to finish this one tomorrow. I am going to finish... It's like they know that I'm filming and they just want to cut me off. But I'm going to finish that one tomorrow and then we'll probably start the next book tomorrow too. I actually have tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday actually off, but I'm seeing my mum on Sunday. But we should be able to get a good chunk of reading done. If not, like, finish the TBR. So I'm very excited about that. I want to curl up into a ball and never wake up again now because I just worked like a 10-hour shift and I'm tired. It is 5:45 and about an hour ago, I would say, I did sit down and finish Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. Yes, I finished it. It was really good. I didn't have a lot left actually. I managed to get most of what was left done on the train. I didn't realise there's a novella in here. It's like a prequel novella on Elias. I decided not to read that just yet. I will read it eventually, but I didn't feel like reading it today. I just wanted to be done with Half a Soul, like the actual book. So I left it for now, but I will come back to it because I did really enjoy Elias's character, and I believe, you know, it's kind of telling us the lead up of his character as to how we find him in Half a Soul. And I am definitely interested in that. I just didn't feel like reading it right now or today, you know. I'll read it at some point. But I'm happy to report I thoroughly enjoyed myself with this one. I really loved it. I ended up giving it a 4-star and it was just so good. The magic in it, it was very cozy, whimsical, very light and easy to get through. It was exactly what I wanted and needed. And it was really good. I also appreciated how short it was. It was a really nice length. And just, yeah, very digestible and easy. And I also feel like the route that she went down for the ending is not what I expected. But I actually appreciated it and I really liked it. So yeah, I settled on a 4-star for this one. It was very enjoyable and I actually liked it so much that before I had even finished it, I did go to Waterstones today and I picked up the next 2 books in the series. So we have 10,000 Stitches and then we have Long Shadow. And yeah, these are the next 2. For some reason Long Shadow is shiny, but 10,000 Stitches is not, and neither is Half a Soul. But yeah, I did pick up the rest of the series, so now I have all of it. So once I'm done with this reading vlog, I'll probably make my way through the other 2 books because I really want to try and start reading whole series back to back, because I always, like, there's always so many different books I want to read in so many different series that I will read a book in a series and then I'll read like 5 other books and then I'll read the next book and then another 5 books and then the final one, and I want to start reading them back to back. So when I'm done with this reading vlog, I think I will finish off the series, because yes, it was so good, but the night is still young and there is still a lot of reading time ahead of me. So I'm gonna pick up our next book, which is The X-Files, and I feel like I haven't read like a strict romance in a while, so I am looking forward to this one, and I'm just continuing on with the floppy vibes. I'm loving reading some floppy books. But I'm hoping to get through this one today and tomorrow, because I have tomorrow off. If not, finish it Sunday, because I also have Sunday off. But I'm seeing my mum, which is going to be great. We're going for a Sunday roast. She makes the best slow cooked beef. It's so good. I might try and get a clip of it, because it's the yummiest beef I've ever had. It's delicious. But I digress. I'm going to try and start this book and finish it in the next couple of days, and I'm hoping that this will also be a nice light read. I'm kind of hoping it's gonna be like Happy Place, but a little bit less sad, because I don't feel like sobbing at a book. I hope I love it as much as I loved Happy Place, but I don't want to be that heartbroken. So hopefully it doesn't get me that bad. But yeah, this is our next green book. I hope you guys are okay with me counting this as a green book. I'm kind of going off the spines more than anything, because them like lined up is so green and gorgeous. But yeah, I'm gonna go and start this now, and I will update you guys when I have some thoughts to share.
Tornado, 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 tornado.
I'm here for an update. I just had a shower, so excuse me if I look like a little bit crazy, if my hair looks a little bit crazy. Yeah, just had a shower, so I feel like the hair is looking a bit odd. Excuse me for that. But I have some reading updates, because it's been... Did I speak to you guys last night when I started the X-Files? I think I did. Did I? I don't think I did. I think I filmed some like B-roll of like me starting the X-Files, but I've just realised I don't think I gave you any thoughts. So this is like a long overdue update. Even though I only started it last night, I'm actually on chapter 22. I'm 213 pages into this book. My apologies. I thought this was a second update for this book, but it's actually the first update for this book, and I'm annoyed about that. Wish I had updated you before I read more today, but that's fine. Once again, this video is going very well because I am thoroughly enjoying this book. It is so good. I'm loving it. I love our characters. I love Georgia and Eli. I think they're great. I love their chemistry together. You can just tell that they were so deeply and insanely in love with each other, and then, you know, things went wrong. But that love is still there hidden away somewhere, and you can really see it when they like interact with one another and everything. Like, you can just tell these people loved each other. So I don't know if I told you guys what this is about, but basically we're following Georgia and Eli, and they have both, you know, they broke up 5 years ago, but they are telling me to take my vitamins. I actually forgot once again, so thank you, MediSafe. They've come together again. You know, I feel like that's gonna be loud. Oh, it stopped. It's fine. So they've come together again for their best friend Adam's wedding. But Adam thinks he's cursed because everything that could go wrong is going wrong, you know? Like, what even went wrong? A few things. Oh, their like DJ dropped out. Yeah, their DJ broke their hip. What else has happened? Like, I think something else happened, and then also their wedding venue burnt down, which is kind of the main one. You know, there was like a couple things. There was like the hip being broken, there was like one other thing, and then the wedding venue burnt down, and you know, just everything was going wrong for Adam and Grace. And then, you know, after the venue burns down, Eli and Georgia basically are thrown together to try and get this wedding back on track, and they have like a list of things that they need to do for this, like basically planning a whole new wedding, because the couple's original wedding venue was like fully catered with a cake and everything. So all of a sudden they didn't have any food, they didn't have a wedding cake, it was all gone along with this venue. So things were just crashing and burning into flames, pretty much. So it was down to Georgia and Eli to kind of fix it and help. And that's kind of where we're at now. We're just working through problem after problem, trying to fix everything, while all the while them being pushed together is rekindling old feelings. And it seems like we haven't had like a strict reason for their breakup, but it seems like some of the things that may have caused their breakup, it seems like he's had a lot of growth, and George is kind of confused on what has happened to the Eli that she knew, because he seems very different. And obviously they broke up 5 years ago, so it's not even just happening because they've broken up and he's reflecting, or at least, you know, like it's not happened straight away. I don't know if that is the case. But he's a very different person, and quote unquote a better person. than he was before. But that's kind of where we're at. I'm halfway through. I am loving it. As I have said, I think it's great. It is somewhat reminiscent of, you know what it's like? It's like the Spanish Love Deception. If in the Spanish Love Deception we didn't have our characters, we had the characters from Happy Place. That's kind of what it feels like. It's kind of a mesh of Happy Place and the Spanish Love Deception. I don't know why. The wedding's not in Spain. Basically, the only reason is the setting of the wedding. And then Happy Place, because it's like a second chance romance, but that is very reminiscent of Happy Place. I don't know. And I digress. I am chapter 22. Things are going well. My plan is to finish it today. I don't have too much left of it. I think I have about 150 pages left, which is obviously very doable. And I am going to finish it probably later on tonight, because there's a book I want to finish unrelated to this vlog, which is The Fellowship of the Ring, if anyone was curious, but it's not green. So we have to say goodbye to her, and we're only going to be talking about the X-Vows. But yeah, I am loving this. I'm predicting a 4 to 4.5. It's great. So we are going to finish that later. But also, as you would have seen, I got a package and I unboxed my Awala, my Iced Breeze Awala, and I am a little bit obsessed. Just a tad. Just a little bit. Maybe quite a lot. Yeah, I went for the Iced Breeze one, so that's the one with like the light green with the blue cap and then the white body with, again, the like light green text, and I may have stuck a little blue Miffy sticker on the top. Adorable. Also, I don't know if you can hear that, but it's icy. I put ice in here, I want to say about an hour ago, if not over an hour ago. Still icy. But yeah, I'm now an Awala girl. Very happy to have joined the club. I love her. I was never a fan of how the Stanleys looked. I'm not a Stanley girl, don't think I ever will be, but I am an Awala girl, so yes. I also got a new puzzle, which I think I'm going to start while I finish off the Fellowship of the Ring. So I'll show you a little bit of the puzzle, but obviously we're not really focusing on the Lord of the Rings in this book, because my cover is not green, so we cannot diverge from the path I have set, which is a path of green books. So I'm gonna go, because I've been talking forever. I'm gonna go do my thing, and then we will come back together later tonight to hopefully finish off this book, but I will show you a little bit of my puzzle. Time for a book haul and an update, guys. This feels like a stocking, but I have some books to haul. I went to the Works today because I went home to visit my mum, and in town there is other Works, so I went to that and I got some books, and then I also finished a book. I finished the X-Vows, so we can talk about that too. Oh, and here's my golden candle that my little brother said I had to have the other day when my mum went out with him, which is very cute. One of my biggest complaints about the Works in Westfield, the Shepherd's Bush one, is that their 3 for $6 like deal is always awful. They never have any books that I would want, at least not 3 in that deal. In the one in Westfield, I feel like it's always like the like old like wartime romances that are in that deal. I don't read those books, so I never get to like make the most out of it, but today the 3 for $6 deal really came through. As you know, I've read this series. Apart from the last one, I still need to read the last one. But I have read and loved this series. These were the only 3 they had, otherwise I would have picked up the other 2. But they had Flawless, Heartless, and Reckless. And I mean, to be fair, these 2 are my favourite in the series, so I'm not mad about it. I'm very happy to own a physical copy of Reckless. I feel like I need to annotate this one day, because it's one of my favourite romance books. But I've been wanting recently to get my hands on Elsie Silver's books. Physically, it just feels like one of the romance authors that I want to own physically, so I picked up these 3 in the 3 for £6 deal, so this literally cost me £6. Isn't that insane? So cheap. But I need to get my hands on the other ones. I'm going to check the Works website, but if not, maybe I'll get them from World of Books or something. I don't want to pay 20 quid for the next 2 when I only spent 6 on the first 3. That feels counterintuitive. So yeah, I got these, and then I also picked up Daydream. I still haven't read, what's it called? Wildfire. I still haven't read it, but I've heard such good things about Daydream, and it's been like a couple of book club picks, not for like, I don't know what I'm saying. Basically, I feel like people are talking about this book a lot, and it had really gorgeous sprayed edges, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna read it one day, let's just pick it up now, with the hopes that it will motivate me to read Wildfire so that I can get to this one quicker, because I've heard that Daydream is basically like the best in the series. And I wasn't going to read Wildfire anytime soon because I believe it's set in a summer camp and summer has passed. But you know what, I will bend my rules so that I can read Daydream because I've heard great things. But I did finish The X-Files, and I'm going to give this one a 4.75. I loved it. To put it simply, I really, really loved this book. It was phenomenal. I loved our characters, I loved the journey that they went through. I think the decisions that they made sense. The 3rd act conflict did not feel as detrimental to me as some other ones do, and we all know I hate 3rd act breakups, so I was quite pleasantly surprised by how everything went down in the 3rd act of this book. I really liked it. I definitely want to pick up her other book, You Were the View, because I think her writing is just going to be one that I love. Like, there was so many beautiful moments. I half wished I was annotating it just so that I could underline and tab all the good quotes. Hi, Bats. I half wish, yeah, I already said that, because there were some really good quotes in here, some really lovely moments, and I was trying not to cry on the train home. At the ending of this book. It was really magical. So, really recommend this one. Another great one. We're doing so well. So far we've had a 4-star and a 4.5 stars. So this green reading vlog is going splendidly. And it's now time to move on to the final book of the vlog, which I think has been my most anticipated of the 3 books in the vlog. Anyway, I think, yeah, this was my most anticipated just because it's the only author I've actually read before in this vlog, and it's also a sequel. So I feel like I have the highest expectations for this. Even though I didn't love the first book, I enjoyed it, but it was like, I think I gave it 3.5 or maybe a 4, because I did like the ending, but I've heard that this one is better. So we're gonna start this one this evening. We're also going to watch The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring tonight, because I did finish that book also this morning. So just like to flex, I finished 2 books today, and I am at 107 books read for this year. Crazy. But I am going to try and get through this. I think it's looking like I'm going to finish this on Tuesday, so maybe if I could get at least 100 pages done today, that would be amazing. So I'm going to go. I'm going to start this at some point tonight and either give you my beginning thoughts today or tomorrow before I go to uni and work. So yes, I do really recommend the X-Hex though, guys. What? That's not what this book is called. That was weird. I really recommend the X Vows. I don't know what happened there. I'm not gonna lie. Something possessed me. But yeah, I really recommend this. It's so good. So, I think I last updated you guys on Sunday, I think, because that's when I finished the X Vows. And it's now the 1st of October, which is Wednesday, and I have some updates. I feel like whenever I start a clip, I have hair on my face somewhere, but yeah, I have some updates because I have been reading Emily Wilde's Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands, and I am a third of the way through now. I'm on page 123. And it has been going really well. I feel more into this one than I did the last one. I'm enjoying like the dynamic of our characters a little bit more because we're more well established with them since the last book, even though there's 2 new characters. But I am enjoying the presence of them also. I can't really say what it's about, but on the back it does say that you go to the Austrian Alps, and that is where we now are, which is going to be like the main setting for the whole book, I presume, because that's what happened in the last one. They went to somewhere in Sweden and we were there for the whole book, so I think we're kind of established where we are. We're kind of, if you're not familiar with like the first book, it's kind of following the same formula where we're going to this new place where Emily Wilde is aware that there is fairies, and you know, she has a particular interest or need to be there and looking into it. And every place with every like group of fairies, like the local people have their own little like customs and things that they do to deal with the fairies to stay on their good side so that they don't, you know, do anything bad to them. And we're kind of learning about those customs and establishing ourselves within this specific, you know, area, and what the sort of fairies are in this area, because they work very differently to, say, like Holly Black fairies, obviously wildly different to like Asham fairies. These ones tend to be quite evil. There's different rankings, there's like so many different things, and it's really comprehensive. And sometimes I'm reading it and I'm like, this feels like it's real, because she's like referencing like textbooks and all of these things, and it's just so well thought out and so extensive that it's really impressive from the viewpoint of like the author. Like the fact that she managed to write something like this is really impressive. I will say I do find these books to be a bit slow, like the narrative style is kind of slow, which isn't bad. I just always go in trying to read them quickly and then realise I can't really read them quickly. They have to, you know, it takes a second to get through them, but that's fine. My new goal is to finish it on Wednesday. To be honest, I want to read another third today and then hopefully finish it off tomorrow. If I could finish it today, that would obviously be amazing, but I'm not too sure on how possible that's going to be. But I am enjoying myself. I think I'm going to like it more so than the last one, because I love the ending of the first one, but the like beginning middle was a little bit iffy for me, whereas this I think I'm going to enjoy the whole way through, which I'm excited about. But we also have a cozy day planned. Although, it's raining, Piddle. It's raining.
It's not ideal, is it?
No, and we forgot the umbrella, so I don't know if we'll be able to go for our walk. But do you still want to meet me to get, like, the baking stuff? And we can get a blank sheet, but we can just, like, sit inside. Yeah? You so happy to? You don't seem very enthusiastic. Okay, thank you.
Yes! Let's fucking go! Yes!
Yeah, so we do have a bit of a cozy day planned. It was going to be even nicer, but it's raining today. We were going to go for a walk, but we can't. But we are going to bake some cinnamon swirl cupcakes, which are going to be delicious, and we're going to watch The Fellowship of the Ring, because I finished the book, as we all know. So I'm sure we'll do more and it'll be so super cozy, but those are kind of the rough plans for today. So yep, baking, Fellowship of the Ring, read more of Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherland. That is what I am doing today. So, I am back to wrap up the vlog. Now, I know I did not give you very many thoughts on Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands. I actually broke my camera lens. He's back. I was filming the clips that you would have seen before this, and the tripod was on the bed, and I moved my foot, and the camera went tumbling off of the bed, and the lens was out. So say this is like the two bits of the lens, like this is the base and then this is the bit that comes out. It was like that, like stuck in the camera, or like the lens was like stuck in the lens. I don't really know how to explain it, but I ordered a new one, and then we missed the delivery by 3 minutes. So then it took an extra day. So during that day that it was meant to come, Leon actually took the whole lens apart and put it back together again, and somehow, miraculously, he managed to fix it. Am I in focus? I think I am. Yeah, he miraculously managed to fix the lens. And the new lens that came today, it's actually not very good. It's really zoomed in, and it's about the same quality level as this one, so it's not worth it to keep it, and it was £200. And I bought a second-hand one, so brand new it's £300, I paid £200 for it. It's not worth it to keep it, so we're returning that one, and we're back with the original camera lens. And I have changed the settings, so I may look a little bit more zoomed out now, which I'm happy about, because you guys were quite close to me before. But that is my long-winded explanation as to why I could not update you guys. I was about halfway through Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands when the lens broke, and then I finished it the next day. And no, I had about 130 odd pages actually when the lens broke, and then I finished it the next day, so I didn't have time to give you guys an in-between update. So we are just here to wrap up the vlog. And I know, I am sorry about that, because I wish I had given you guys a few more updates, but hopefully the vlog has still been good thus far. And we're just going to really quickly go through all of the books we read in this green themed vlog, and we can wrap it all up and you guys can finally go. So, of course, the first book that we finished is Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. I loved this one. As you know, I went and got the next 2 books in the series, which I will be starting this month because it's now October, of course. I'm probably going to read them this month because they were really good. This book was really good. Sorry, not they. Haven't read them yet. Hopefully they're good, but this book was actually really good. I loved our characters. I loved reading from the perspective of a character that only had half a soul. It was really interesting, you know, to see how she dealt with things and her like lack of emotions towards things and stuff. It was really interesting. I loved the little romance that played about in this book. The way that fairies were portrayed were very interesting. I think the next book is going to be interesting because we're in fairy a little bit more, I think. Yes, we are in fairy in this book, so that will be exciting because I do love, we all know I love, you know, the more folklore sort of depiction of fairies, and there's so many different ways you can do it. Obviously we have like Holly Black, we have Olivia Atwater, we have Heather Fawcett, you know, like Emily Wilde's sort of depiction of fairies. Like there's so many different kinds of depictions of the traditional folklore sort of fairies, and I just love reading all the different ones and seeing how all the different authors play around with this somewhat solidified magical being sort of thing. So yeah, I think I gave this one 4 stars. Do you guys remember? I think it was a 4 or a 4.5. I'll put it on the screen. I'll check my Goodreads. Can't remember what I gave it. But I did really enjoy it, and I can't wait to pick up the other ones. And then we read The X-Files. Why did I forget what it was called? I was like trying to read it back to front in the camera. Am I in focus? Sorry, I feel like I keep going out of focus, but I also can't really see from this far. Trying to see. Yeah, we read The X-Files. This again was phenomenal. I gave this one a 4.75. I loved this book. It really was giving Happy Place vibes. Because obviously there's second chance romances and there's loads of second chance romances, but the kind of formula, I guess, of the vibes between the couple was kind of giving me Happy Place, Win and Harriet. Yeah, they were kind of giving me Win and Harriet vibes specifically, but this was great. The only qualm, not a fancy word there, I think I used that correctly, the only qualm I had with this book is obviously we're at this wedding and things keep going wrong. I personally think maybe a few too many things went wrong, like nearer the end. This is maybe a tiny spoiler, but it doesn't really matter. But obviously loads of things go wrong at the beginning of the book and that pushes our characters together. But throughout the book, things continue to go wrong. The whole book, like not until like right at the end, things are still going wrong for this wedding, which is kind of like, you know, the plot of the book. Still going wrong. I was like, okay, maybe I feel bad for Adam and whoever his girlfriend is in this, I don't remember. But I felt like bad for them because I was like, oh my god, things are still going wrong. Like, geez, this wedding sucks. Like, I feel so bad for them. That was my only thing, you know? But other than that, I loved it. I loved the relationship between the characters. It was great. I love watching them rekindle. I thought the third act conflict and the way things ended off were also amazing. I think I teared up, potentially. Also, I'm just gonna say, paper rings, so cute. But yeah, that's this one, 4.75 stars. Loved it. It was great. Am I out of focus again? No, I don't know. I don't know. And then the one that I haven't been able to update you guys on is Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands. I find these books confusing, in the sense that when I'm reading them, I'm always a little bit bored and I always struggle to get into it. But then when I reflect back and I look back upon reading the books, I always love them. And I'm always like, that was so great, I want to read the next one. And I've read the next one, and then the same thing happens where I'm like, can't really get into this, I'm maybe a little bit bored. But it was still pretty good. So I don't really know. This is also one of these two books, it's not a duology, but at the moment there's only 2 out. These 2 books, my ratings for them are confusing me, because I would say I enjoyed this one more than the last one, but I'm pretty sure I gave the last one 4 stars and I gave this one a 3.75, but the last one doesn't feel like it should be less than a 3.75. I'm gonna leave it at a 4 because I can't be bothered, but I don't know what's going on with our ratings here. But I did really enjoy this one. I was maybe a little bit confused at one point. We were looking for this nexus and I was like, wait, what is this? I was like 100 pages in and I was like, wait, what does this thing even do? Like, what, why do we need it? I figured it out, I worked it out, but that was that. I do think, like, the more we learned about the Fae in this one was very interesting. What we learned about our characters was great. We had a little feature from my favourite character from the last book, and when they showed up, it made this book 10 times better. Like, I didn't realise how much I was lacking this character until we got to see them again, and I was like, oh my god. They're great. So cute. So we had that. This book also just leaves off in such an interesting place for where the next book is gonna begin, and I think the next book is gonna give a very different vibe, but in a good way. I think it's gonna be really good, and I'm so excited for the next one. But yeah, the plot of this one was interesting. We also had 2 additional characters that weren't in the last one. I really liked what they brought to the book. I really enjoyed the addition of them and what it brought to our story. But yeah, this one takes place in the Austrian Alps and it's quite autumnal, so it did give, you know, some cozy vibes. But when they said the Alps, I just pictured snow. I'm not gonna lie, every scene I was imagining had snow in it, so it was a cozy vibe, but I'm stupid and was picturing snow, so it didn't give me the most autumnal vibes, but I think I was imagining it wrong, and I don't think there is any snow. So, you know, do with that what you will. But those were our green books that we read this week. I had a lot of fun with all of these. I felt like I had some really good reads. I found a new author that, oh my goodness, I found a new author that I'm really excited to read more of. Oh, actually 2 authors. I forgot I hadn't read any Olivia Atwater. I found 2 new authors that I'm really excited to read from, and we continued a series that I was in the middle of. So, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please like and subscribe and do all of those things, and also let me know in the comments if you have any video ideas that you want to see me do or any books that you want to see me read, because I'm always open to suggestions. My video next week is going to be a fun one. I am excited. So yeah, look out for that one next week, but I will see you guys in that video hopefully. Goodbye!